There's one other guy, Barabbas. I think of Barabbas, what a tremendous testimony this guy could have had. Can you imagine? He's the only one. He's a criminal, messed up, should die, has been horrible in his life. His whole background has been one of crime, hurting people, deceit, lying. Jesus swaps with him. There's only one story about this situation, and Barabbas is the guy. I mean, he should have been a Paul. He should have been someone that walks out and said, because of that man, I'm able to now live free. I will never go back to crime again, and his life has changed. But when he was asked, Barabbas, you've been chosen by Jesus to change the world, he said no. Then you have someone like Jane. Jane one day came to me. She got saved in the 9th grade. She comes to me in an altar call. Jane says to me, you know, Pastor Glenn, I've never done anything great in 3 years since I've been a Christian in school. I'm going into my last year. And she's telling me something that she has been chosen to change the world, but she doesn't have any idea what she's going to do. I grabbed her hand and I began to pray for her. I said, Jane, God's going to give you an idea this year that's going to totally rock the school. I said, I'm going to pray for you, and you're going to step out with boldness. And I said, God's going to do something through you. All of a sudden, she gets an idea. She's in a public high school, and she's the senior year in her speech class. We've all been in speech class, and this particular speech was to be on a certain object. It was to be an object, and you're supposed to give a speech on it. So what she does, she gets up in the class when it's her turn, and she has a paper bag. She walks up, and she goes, my speech is on what I have in my paper bag. What I have in my paper bag is an object, and this is my object. It's in a paper bag. You can't see it, but I want to talk about what's in my paper bag and what's in my bag. She goes, what's in my bag? Some of you don't really know this, but in the 9th grade, I was really going in a wrong direction. I was really heading and starting to do some bad things. What's in the bag had the ability to totally change me around and change my mind around. What I have in the bag is the most powerful thing in the universe. What I have in my bag can take a person that's been a drug addict and totally set them free in 1 second. What I have in my bag can take an alcoholic and totally, in 1 minute, they're not an alcoholic anymore and their life is totally changed around. What I have in my bag is not just going to make you high, it'll make you the most high. And she starts doing it. Well, people are saying, what's in the bag? I want some of that stuff in the bag. What happens was when she does this and builds it up, she has a bag and she opens her bag and she pulls out her Bible. She pulls her Bible out. That wasn't the reaction the classmates had. The classmates in a public school actually just kind of cursed and, oh, how stupid is that? She didn't hesitate. This was her time that she knew she was chosen. She stood there with her back straight with her Bible and said, everything I just told you is true. And she looked at them, and all of a sudden, because she made that step and realized I have been chosen, an anointing begins to come in that public school classroom. All of a sudden, she says, yes, the author of my book I would like to talk about. Miss Smith, can I talk about the author of my book? She goes, I guess you can. It's your speech. She goes, okay, the author of my book is who I'm talking about. The author of my book changed my life. The author of my book is the most powerful person in the entire world. The author, and she goes on and on. All of a sudden, this anointing, no one's moving around. Nobody is cutting up. Nobody has to go to the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? It's just a hush in the room. She turns back, and the teacher's just stunned. She's under an anointing haze on her. And she says to her, look, I'd like to ask people at the close of my speech if they would like to accept the author of my book. And she goes, okay, fine, I guess. So she gets up there and Jane says, okay, I'm gonna tell you who the author of my book is. His name is Jesus Christ. He's the Son of God. He can change your life. And I want everybody here, if you wanna have this life, then I want you to lift your hands. 15 people lifted their hands in a classroom and accepted Jesus and prayed a sinner's prayer. When Jane was asked, are you chosen to change the world? She said, yeah.